Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of On Tap. Today we got the man, the myth, the legend, Jake Giller. Jake,
hey,
how's it going today, man?
They got the studio right here. They have the casting couch in the back.
Yep.
It's fucking lit
Yeah, we're
over
trying to
here,
figure
man.
out our own version of plug talk. You're actually our first guest.
That's why we invited you. Jake, you're a performer.
Yes.
We're actually going to your show.
Yes.
July 25th.
Fucking lit.
7th Street entry.
Can't wait.
Our buddy Jordan, SLF, behind camera right now.
Shout out.
He's going to be there.
Yes, he is.
He's also performing.
Yes, he is.
So give us a rundown. You know, obviously, I think people's first thing that comes into their head when they hear I'm a musician or I rap, they think SoundCloud rappers. Can you run us through, like, what in your head do you think differentiates you from any of these other people who claim that they're rappers? And why should people listen to your music?
Okay. Are you to help with me answering this question, when you say like differentiate from other people, are we going to keep the people that are already established out of this answer? Like,
Yeah, I think that's fair.
You
Yeah.
tell me. You pick it.
okay, so yeah, if we put those people that are already established, you know, they already got a following, they're making a living off it. Perfect. I think what differentiates me is just the growth I've had over the years. At first, when I started, I fell into the trap of being an artist, wanted to get famous and get money quick.
Yeah.
I was super money motivated, clickbait motivated, trying to get as many followers as I could, and I just fell into that trap for a long time. I became arrogant for a little bit when I was younger doing this shit. I thought I was the man for a long time, and then, you know, I got humbled and I took a step back and I was like, you know, I need to just be me. I need to do this shit for the reason I love it, not because I'm going to make a dime off of it. And I think that's what separates me, is I just talk about myself. In any music you hear, I talk about the things that happened to me in my life. I don't try to gloat about trying to get a fancy car or, you know, wearing foreign clothes or designer clothes. I never talk about that shit, but yeah, I
see you
real,
got,
man.
you know, somewhat of a designer clothes on right now.
Oh, just a Gravedigger shirt.
Dude,
You know,
I'm
some
a big
vintage.
fan of this shirt.
It's sick.
Absolute classic.
Huge Gravedigger fan.
Oh man, same.
One thing that you said, you know, hot topic, kind of reminds me of Kanye in the Kanye documentary, where he just talks about, like, I can't sell to these people that I'm out killing people on the streets and slanging drugs. They're going to look at me and be like, yeah, right, dude.
Yeah, bro.
So his thing was, I'm just going to speak from the heart, tell my story, and hopefully people relate. And I mean, I feel like that's where you come from, where, like, you can't just go on there and be like, yeah, I killed 5 motherfuckers.
Nope.
You know, it's just.
Well, and dude, to even tie in that, I'm a white guy that's in a predominantly African-American culture. Or what's the term I'm looking for? Predominantly African-American genre of music.
Yeah.
So I can't just go into the scene rapping about shit like that or rapping about street shit, because I would just look funny doing that. Maybe if I was in that lifestyle, it might make sense, but no, I just have to be me. I have to be that. I have to respect the space I'm in.
Yep.
Give respect and pay homage to that culture itself, because I fell in love with that culture and that music. So I just have to take the inspiration and love I have for that and do whatever I can to give myself in that form, if
Yeah.
that makes
Right.
sense.
Right.
Yeah, so let's take it back a little bit. Let's
Yeah.
get this origin story. So how long ago did you start making music?
It was 2015, so it was my senior year, going into my senior year. So it was 2014 summer. I was always the guy around so, you know, in high school, there's always that crew of guys that are, you know, dropping freestyles, whether it's
Yeah.
at the lunch table, on the school bus, you know,
Yeah.
going
Yeah.
to football games or some shit, or just at the house parties. And fucking ciphers are going on. Blackout kids
yeah.
at like 1 a.m. just dropping freestyles. And fucking,
yeah.
And that's I was always the guy that would hype my friends up, like, yo, spit a freestyle. I'm trying to record it and put it on Vine, if you guys remember that.
Fucking
Like
right.
the
Dude, I
6-second
love
Vines,
Vine.
man. And like, dude, I would do that because I just loved it in general. Like, I was super big Mac Miller fan back then. I just loved rap and hip hop music, but I never saw myself doing it. And then one day I just got really stoned with some friends of mine, and I was like, hey,
Let
I
me
think
do
I want
it.
to try and rap
me
with
do
you
it.
guys, dude. And
Yeah.
I tried it. It was fucking trash. But anyways, I was like, yo, I kind of like this. So started making music going into my senior year, and just started doing it more and more into like, it's almost going to sound cliche, but it got to the point where, you know, going through the hallways, I would listen to instrumentals in my headphones,
Yep.
or in fucking study hall, I would write raps on a notebook, not on my phone when I had a notes app right there.
Right.
But yeah, just like started doing that. And then, yeah, time goes on. I dropped my first song after I graduated. And yeah, I mean, moved to Mankato a couple years later. Actually, let me rewind. After I my senior year when we were making music, I was in a group called Grove Music. So I'm from Inver Grove Heights, graduated at Simley. I was in a group called Grove Music. It was myself, Joey Barboza, or Joey Barstad, dropping legal names today. We had Justice, Andre, Junior, and a good friend of mine, Cody Albright, as well. So it was a group of us. We were all making music together. And then that kind of fell off as time grew on because, you know, some of us were graduating. We were moving away. Moved to Mankato after that and met Eric from Waterwave. Was making music with my buddy Trey, and Eric wanted to add me as an artist onto Waterwave. And I was like, fuck yeah, I like the idea of what you're doing. And this is like fresh Waterwave. Like they just started their YouTube. I think they only had like 100 subscribers, if that, maybe less. Very fresh time. And, you know, like the rest is history, man. Like I could go on talking about it for like ever, but I'm just trying to summarize it.
What points did you think to yourself, like, I really want to pursue this? Like, was there one particular point when you're like coming up when you thought to yourself, like, okay, this might be something? Like you obviously get some sort of validation from someone else where it was like, okay, this is sweet.
When I had this Minnesota Song of the Summer in 2018.
What was that?
My song "Young Ones Livin'." So 95.3 in the cities.
Oh, nice.
Was playing it. So like, yeah, that was a super cool moment, man.
That's
Like,
awesome.
it was fucking cool. And like, I was like, oh yeah, this is it. Like, fuck yeah, okay. And that's at my time where I was a little arrogant. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm about to get fucking rich. I'm about to blow up. Didn't happen, but
I think
it was
that's
still cool.
like everyone's initial reaction to that first little like jump up in traction too, though. It's like, oh, I'm onto something. Like I got it.
Yeah,
you know.
man.
And then it's like, I don't remember what it's called, but there's a name for it. That curve where it's like when you're first getting into something, you get to a peak really, really fast,
And you plateau.
and then you plateau.
Yeah.
And then if you don't continue through it, you just kind of fade out. But if you push through
man.
that's where, you know, everyone comes right back up eventually if you just keep cracking away at it no matter what it is.
Yeah, dude. And honestly, I fell victim to that keep going down for a little bit. So yeah, so I had that Song of the Summer. Then the year after, I thought I was even getting crazier. I flew to Vegas to link with a producer on Slaughter Gang. So that's 21 Savage's record label. His name's Kid Hazel. But I fucking, in a sense, I fumbled the bag because we paid him $1,000 for a beat pack. I went there. I got too starstruck in the moment. I didn't record anything because I got in my head. I was like, oh my, I was like so starstruck. I was like, this
almost
dude works.
that imposter syndrome where you're like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Yeah, dude. Like that's what started happening, and I was like, this dude worked with Lil Baby, 21 Savage. Like, what am I doing? Me, just this corny ass white guy. Like, fuck.
Right.
And like to this day, I still have a beat pack of his, but I haven't made anything with them. So maybe one day I will, but I own the beats that he sent me, so we'll see what happens. And yeah, so after that, you know, time went on. I just kept going down, and like, dude, it grew to a point where like I didn't make music for a while. So like the song I just dropped is the first song I've released in like a year and a half, because I was just like, I got so low. I was like, damn, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But life happened, you know, got engaged.
Yep.
Other things were happening. I almost started looking at myself like it was corny almost. Like people would ask me about the music or ask me to play songs of mine, and I'd be like,
hey, bitches.
You need a new bitchin' hat?
Head on over to the description of this video and click the link for twistedbitchcattlecompany.com. Use code ONTAP10 for 10% off your next order to get yourself one of these bitchin' hats.
Don't be a bitch.
I feel weird about it.
Yep.
And then I started making the project Reflective Therapy, and the first song titled Reflective Therapy, I just talked about how I just self-reflecting in a sense, and it just like awoken that music bug again, and I was like, holy shit, why am I gonna stop? I need to do it because I love it. Tying back into what we were talking about a couple minutes ago, like do
what
it 'cause
got
I
you
love
to
it.
start
Yeah.
it? What got you to start in the first place? Yeah, I mean, we've definitely felt that too doing this podcast. We've done it for 3 years now.
Yeah, dude, it doesn't even seem like that.
It does not seem like that. But I mean, we've gone through, I'm gonna say we're on our like 4th or 5th different version of what it is right now. Originally, it was like,
Yeah.
let's just see how drunk we can get, and hopefully something funny gets said, we can clip it out.
Yeah.
And that was like the whole model. And obviously that's not sustainable, you know?
Yeah.
Like there's definitely days where we would just show up and we'd like force ourselves to get drunk, and then it's like not the same product, you know?
Dude,
taking
it was
shots.
crazy. We would take like 5-6 shots throughout an episode.
I feel like I remember clips seeing you guys with like a bottle of liquor here, just taking turns, taking shots.
Dude, one
and
of
shit,
us
dude.
would just grab the bottle and start fill everybody up. Shit.
It's not sustainable because like you know, we came in here with that mentality like, I don't have the energy to like put on that like I'm getting fucked up face, you know? So we had to change it. We had to pivot. We had to pivot.
But dude, it's
keep doing it.
The beauty of that is you're trying you gotta fail to succeed, right? So like I wouldn't say it was failing, but you're trying the different avenues to see what works for you guys.
I mean, if there was ever a point that was close to failing, it was definitely at one point on this show. Like there was a point where our friend Tyler, who comes on here too, we would call each other like, dude, we didn't get 0 downloads today. We got a download. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Yeah,
we went 7 days without getting 0 downloads. That's nuts.
yeah, that's fucking awesome.
Now it's
dude.
like if we did that, it'd be like, wow. Why are we doing it? Even
Yeah.
you know, I couldn't even fathom that even being an option right now.
Let me ask you guys as a guest on your show, what is the origin story of On Tap with the boys?
So Cody can take the original, and then I'll fill in once I enter the once I enter the picture.
So originally we started actually like back in my basement of my house.
It's always in a basement.
Audio only, no video.
Oh shit!
And it was there was 4 of us, just me, Tyler, Tucker, and our friend Dalton. And all 4 of them, or all the 3 other ones, kind of rotate in and out. They've been on within the last couple of weeks to all 3 of them. So we're all still friends. You know, everyone just gets busy.
Yep.
They got kids and jobs and
Life happens, man. Yeah, fuck.
So it started in my basement, and I just had this bar in my basement. And I remember we just had like one night a week where we would just like get together and shoot pool in my basement, and we'd just be sitting at the bar by the end of the night, just like bullshitting. And I was like, we got to record this. And I feel like that's the cringiest thing to say because everyone says that.
Yep.
And they're like, we would be so funny.
I've definitely said that a couple times.
Funny. Yeah. But this was kind of back in the time when it wasn't really that cringy yet to say that.
Yep.
So I was like, fuck it. I'm doing it. I'm buying I bought a mixer board. I bought 4 mics. Basically any program that I thought would work. And we just started recording. And the first, I want to say like 1 or 2, maybe we didn't put out. And then I was like, all right, we should like structure this, you know, like I'd start doing bits where we'd like, you know, I'd write out all these trivia questions, then we just answer trivia, and then wherever it went from there, whatever. And it kind of morphed into something that we were making a little bit of money off of. We started getting like sponsorships, like local places wanted to put their names on it so that they could get seen from the people locally. And we started getting some traction locally. So I was like, you know what? I bet we could justify like having our own space.
Fuck yeah.
And I also had started my own freelance videography company at the same time. So I was like, it'd be sweet to have an office that's not my house because then I can actually get work done. So when we weren't recording, I'd have a place. And then also if I had a bunch of people there, it wouldn't be weird. Like my wife isn't like telling me like, hey, I'm trying to sleep. Like, keep it down.
Yeah.
So it's nice having your own spot. So we got the studio. It was actually down the street from here. It was this basement, dungeony. The walls were rock. I mean, it was like dirty.
If I were a woman, you couldn't pay me to go down in that basement. Like,
And it was bad when we first moved in there. It used to be a pet grooming place, and there was like the whole basement was really, there was just like cat litter and poop everywhere. And
Damn,
so I cleaned the whole thing out
down there.
I cleaned the whole thing out thoroughly multiple times. And so it was good by the end, but yeah, it was just like slowly started gaining traction. And then we're like, you know, I think we might be onto something. And then we 10 episodes in, we switched to video, and we had Miles, the You Betcha guy on, the Bush Light guy.
Yep.
And then we got just had a good relationship with him and his camp after that. And I ended up getting a job with them. So I worked up there for 9 months.
Hell yeah.
And then during that time, you know, I was just coming back here every weekend to do the podcast on the side. And basically got to a point where I was like, you know what? We're getting a little bit more traction. I think I'm just going to do this full time. So I quit You Betcha, moved back here. We've been doing the podcast hard ever since.
Damn,
so that's been like
awesome.
probably about a year and a half, I'm guessing.
yeah, because so they had it going, and then I I came in as a guest spot. I made a couple funny TikToks. They thought it was funny, whatever. They asked me to come on. Well, my first episode was an absolute shit show. We got blackout drunk on the episode.
Is that still online?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to watch
We
it.
ended up sleeping at the studio.
Went
that
to
night.
the bar, closed down the bar, came back to the studio, had it ripping. I literally passed out head on the desk
Well, it was recorded?
No.
when we got back from the bar. First time I ever hung out with these guys like this.
Oh, my God.
And so then I told him, I was like, dude, if you guys ever need someone to fill in, because one of their main guys, Tucker, he had just had twins and he was busy as fuck with work, whatever. So he was like pretty much out of the picture at this point. And I was like, if you guys ever need someone to fill in, like, let me know, I'm down. Well, they had me fill in a couple times. It went good. And then they were like, dude, do you just want to be a part of this? And that
Hell
was
yeah.
it was not last January, the January before. And then from then on, we just started ripping it up. And it's even since I've been a part of it, we've had people come in, we've had people leave. But Cody and I just keep the show fucking rolling, I suppose.
I love it, man.
We gotta.
I love it.
We gotta.
Dude, there's beauty in that too, though, right? Like you guys were doing this for so long, and then you said it was like your first time really hanging out with like Cody.
Yeah.
You said, right? And then just an opportunity
Yeah.
arose right there.
Yeah, it
That's
was-
the power of network.
It is,
essentially.
yeah. It's
Definitely.
definitely a different dynamic because, like, originally the four of us that kind of started all together, like, we were really close friends.
Yeah.
And then everyone just gets busy. Like, the older you get, you know, like,
Yeah, dude.
in that like 18 to 25 range, you know, you really you gain a lot of friendships and you also lose a lot of friendships in that
Yes, you
short
do.
period of time. It's so strange.
Dude,
so
I
we're just
will
kind of
say-
working through that.
One thing that was really nice about when I first started, like I told Cody, like if you ever need a guy to fill in, like let me know. Well, when I first started coming around all the time, everybody that would come through the studio would be like, dude, can I come on? Can I come on for an episode? Like it was a very frequent thing. And then I'm sitting there like, damn, these motherfuckers picked me. Like there's been 20 guys in the last couple weeks asked to be on. I'm like, all right,
yeah.
maybe I got something going, and that was just a little confidence booster I needed because I was a broken person, dude. Like I would walk into a bar, and I would assume everybody's looking at me, laughing at me. Like it was all in my head. Like
Yeah.
I had no confidence. I just tried to be funny to get attention, good attention towards me, and all of a sudden then I started the show, and then my confidence went up, and everything worked out great. But it was nerve-wracking.
I bet, bro. Cheers to that, by the way.
Cheers, brother.
Yeah, bro.
So we started out when we first got into our other studio, in the basement studio. We tried to like have a bunch of people in the studio while we were recording, and I always think it's fun because it's always like fun, like feeding off of the energy of
for sure.
everyone that's in there. You can tell if it's good or not, or if it's funny, if they're laughing or if they're not laughing.
Yep.
If you don't have that feedback, then you don't really know until you put it out, and then it's like too late, and it's like, oh, I wish I just wouldn't have done that or edited that out, whatever the case may be. So when you like first started doing live performances, how was that transition? Like, were you always like totally cool with it, or did you have a little bit of stage fright going into the performances?
I definitely had stage fright, but funny story. So my senior year of high school, me and my buddy Franz, we don't talk as much now because life happens. He lives a while away, but we were like, yo, it's our last fucking year of high school. It's our last semester or whatever. On some funny shit, let's go try out for the play. We've never acted in our life, bro. So we're like, all right, cool. We're going to go on the last day of auditions. And they were doing the show Hairspray, if you guys have ever heard of that.
Yep.
So me and him you have to get on stage and sing in front of people. We both did it, and we both got lead roles, bro.
That's
and
awesome.
the theater crew hated us.
I
Like,
believe
Oh, I
that.
that
bet.
crowd of kids, they were on bullshit. It was to the point where we're like, we go to the first day of rehearsals, and we look at each other, and you know when you give your boy that look, you're like, I don't know if this is a good idea or not.
Yeah.
We both like looked at each other, and we were like, we backed out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Before the actual play?
Yeah, we were like, fuck this, bro, because none of the theater crew liked us, man. Like, they were pissed.
Dude, that's something else too, because when you get hazed by the group that you think is getting hazed by everyone else, it's like
Yeah.
a different level.
Oh,
of
that's
hazing.
got a hit, man. Like if the losers are making fun of you.
I
it's
was like, oh shit, this is tough. But yeah, transitioning that into performing. What was? Did he just fall?
He just fell back.
Shout
there.
out SLF. He be
Oh
falling.
yeah, that was one of the
Let's
chairs.
go.
One of the broken chairs.
What was the question again about performances?
If you had any stage fright starting out doing it.
Oh yeah, definitely, dude. I would. Woo, boy.
You ever like freeze up, like 8 Mile Eminem style, where you just like on stage like,
It wasn't that. What would happen to me is I'd get so caught up looking at people, like locking eyes with someone while I'm performing, and it would stump me, so I'd forget my lyrics.
Dude, I've
That
always
sucks.
wondered, like, performing, like, do you just like glaze over or like lock eyes with people? That's one thing I've always wondered. You know, there's so many eyes to see.
So many eyes. What I do is when I start the performance, I look at the back of the room. So I look at the wall. Once I get in my groove and I start, dancing and shit on stage, then I'll start looking at
Then you start
people. But
feeling
it's like a quick 1 second look. It's like,
Yeah.
looking at people like that. Because if I lock eyes, I'm gonna forget some shit, and then I have to freestyle, which a lot of performers do that actually.
Yeah.
They'll stumble and like for like the last like 2 rhymes they'll freestyle it, but nobody ever notices.
You hold the mic out. Hope they know.
Hey.
So walk us through your first show. Where was it at?
Yeah.
How did it go?
My first show was at this venue called the Garage. It was in Burnsville, Minnesota. It was when I was with that group Grove Music. And how it went was we started drinking, and then I woke up the next day. I was like, oh, fuck happened? Did someone get a face tat? Who lost a tooth? Like some hangover shit. But I saw videos, and it was one of those times where like I was watching the videos, and I almost had to look away because I was like, damn, dude, I made a fool of myself. I was like completely forgetting the lyrics to every song, just freestyling, and yeah, it went like shit.
So
It
how
was
did you
fun.
guys book the first gig? How did that all go down?
We were looking for venues, and honestly, all we did is we looked at venues all around. You go through like the contact us, and then you just reach out to that whatever generic email it is, like the Garage Burnsville at gmail.com or whatever, and you're just like, hey, we're looking to get a show booked. etc. Like this is us, this is our music, and then they have a booking agent reach out to you. And at the Garage, it's actually a super cool venue for like any local artist trying to come up because you don't have to pay to get the show started. What happens is they have the event, or they host everything. Like they have the stage, the mic setups. They sell the tickets. You get, I think it's like $3 a ticket that's sold. So they'll sell the tickets for like $12.
Nice.
You get $3 every ticket. So they take a majority of it, but
That's worth it.
yeah,
though.
that it's worth that at that point, especially
Yeah.
at that level. I mean,
That's
we're
such-
not.
yeah, that's so good too for artists that don't have the capital to be able
Yeah,
to put
man.
towards sound equipment. I mean, sound equipment alone will make or break the whole show. If your mic sounds like shit, or
Man,
you're
I've-
playing off of a little JBL speaker or something, that's not good.
Dude, I've had mics go out, cut out, or like corded mics. The mic gets unplugged. Man, it has been.
And the tough part, when you're not a huge name,
Yeah.
people don't give you the patience.
Nope.
You know, they're like, fucking can't even figure out his own fucking show. You know, they
Yeah.
don't fuck around. And dude, I can't. It must be so stressful being up there because if something goes wrong, if the people aren't fucking with you, a lot of times these big guys, their name saves them.
Yeah,
But when you're on the
100%.
come up, you know, there's just no room for it, and that's got to be rough.
Dude, yeah. I mean, completely switching the subject, but in terms of performances, this is the first time I've ever talked about this live. Only my fiance knows about this, and I think Michael knows. But I opened for Riff Raff one year. This was
Okay.
like 2 years ago, dude, and I got drugged by a girl.
No shit.
Holy
She
fuck.
came to the show. She told me she drove 6 hours to see me. And I was like super excited. I was like, oh, fuck yeah, this is so awesome. She asked if she can get me a drink. And it was me, my fiance, her, and our group of friends that were hanging out. And this was right after my performance. And I only had a beer. And I didn't eat anything that would have gotten me sick earlier that day. She brings me back the drink. We're all hanging out. 30 minutes later, I was sitting at the table and I was just like a brick wall hit me. I was like, oh shit. I look at my fiance and I was like, I don't feel good. I had to get carried out of this venue.
No way.
Bro, she had to bring me to some sketchy ass hotel or motel, actually. Passed out, fully clothed in a bathroom. There was cockroaches on the floor. I'm sure
my
one crawled in
God.
my fucking nose or something.
Fuck.
Fuck, bro. Like, it was bad. But yeah, I got drugged, but I survived.
Dude, that's horrible.
Damn.
I mean,
Yeah, man.
that had to be a huge moment for you.
It,
Like,
in
to
the
open
moment
for
before
Riff
the
Raff,
drug, yeah.
and then you know, at that point when you're already off stage, you're on your cloud 9 moment. You're sitting there like,
Oh,
holy
dude.
fuck! And then for that to happen, that's just
Oh,
heartbreaking.
it was some
you know?
bullshit. Let me tell you, man. It was Yeah, no, cloud nine from performing, and then having somebody at that moment tell you like they drove 6 hours to see you that you don't know, and then
That's sick.
talk about going up and then
Yeah.
plateau.
Right.
That's exactly what happened, man.
Absolutely. So, speaking of getting drugged, I was in college, went to a frat party.
Oh shit! Did they haze you?
No.
Oh.
Me and my buddy are there. We got in because we were with a bunch of these very good-looking women.
Of course, always like that. in
Two
college.
guys, 6 women. They're like, all right, you get a pass this time.
Yep.
We go in. First room we go to, it's like looks like a dorm room. It's like this huge hallway, rooms on every side. There's like 20 rooms in this thing. First room we go in, bunch of shots on this table,
shit.
pre-poured.
Yeah, that's never good.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't trust this already. So the guy in there, he's like, you guys want a shot? I was like, I'm good. And my buddy was like, yeah, I'll take his. Boom, boom. Takes 2 of them. We go out of there. And I'm not kidding you. It was 10 minutes later. He said he could shit through a screen door because it was laxatives, is what we were guessing.
Oh my
So they were giving
god.
everyone shots of laxatives. So buddy's
my
just got
God.
diarrhea in the middle of this
Yo.
party now.
That is
Having to run to the
fucked up.
bathroom. That
I bet
there's
the bathroom line was long.
no doors on the stalls. People are just hanging out in the bathroom, so it's awkward.
Bro, I have seen this.
Not good.
I've only seen this in Wisconsin, but why is it like that small town bars sometimes have stalls with no doors?
Dude,
Yeah.
it fucking blows my mind, man. I would rather die than take a shit in a small
Yeah.
bar, but sometimes there's emergencies.
Sometimes you gotta
And
go.
I would rather just walk out. Maybe, hopefully, I'm really in the wood, like in the sticks, so I can go find woods. I'd rather go let her
Grab a
go in
nice-
the woods than on a fucking doorless stall.
Grab a nice little leaf. Good
Dude,
wipage.
Anything, man. That's horrible. I'm not a fan of the public bathrooms
Maybe
whatsoever.
lose a sock or part of your shirt or something. You ever done one of those?
I've had. Oh, dude.
Oh, definitely.
Fuck.
I've never been brave enough. I'm 99% of the time I will never go in public. Like I'm going in the comfort of my own home. And I will hold it.
I do got a funny story for you guys. This is another one that I've never told anyone. But you know what? Sometimes humility is good.
Let it
You know,
rip.
It's good to
Let
just
it
let it
rip.
rip. So I'm a contractor for like roofing and exteriors and shit. The first appointment I went on with my manager, he drove me to this house. It was a hot summer day. And I trusted a fart as we were pulling up to this fucking appointment, man. And I sharted. I look at him and I'm like, hey, something bad just happened. I just shit myself. And dude, we were just pulling up to the house and I had to go through an hour appointment
No.
in a homeowner's house.
Oh,
No.
fuck.
Swass, all that shit, man. I got tears coming out.
So-
But yeah, it was rough. And
So
the-
I've never actually. I think I told Cody about it one time, but a very similar experience to where I work for a masonry company. I'm the biz manager of it, and we were doing this super cool job on this island called
Yeah.
Spider Island, and we had to take a pontoon out there. And it was badass. So the owner, who's also a really close friend of mine, he hits up Cody to do his videography. He brings his drone out. Like, we're gonna get some sweet shots, get some drone footage. Everything's gonna be sweet. I drive him there that morning. The minute we pull up, I go to get out of the vehicle. As I'm making that transition of getting out of my vehicle, I'm like, oh, it happened. No warning. I had no clue that this was about to go down. So I'm sitting there like, holy fuck, we're about to get on this pontoon. We're going to rip out of this island. It's going to be a couple hours. It's hot as fuck. I'm freaking out. I start looking around, and now I'm sweating profusely because I'm nervous as fuck. I'm looking around. We're at a public access. I'm like, all right, there's porta potty back there. So what I did in this situation to bring back the cut off a sock, I just had to go full commando, man. I had to
Yeah.
you gotta
so
do.
I go about 10, 15 feet in the woods. I get completely, well, I had my shirt on still, but I'm completely naked, fucking taking my dirty ass shit in underwear, wiping my ass shit. I'm like, all right, this looks like a good spot. Throw it in the woods. Put my shorts back on. I'm like, all right, ready to rip.
Did you jump in the water after?
I didn't have to. I thought the cleanup job went
Dude.
pretty decent. Luckily, I never said anything. No one fucking noticed. I was like, fucking Christ.
It's funny that he told me this actually a couple weeks after this happened. I was with him that day because he was bringing me there because I was doing a video for his company. And I remember that moment. I was like, damn, is he mad at me or something? Like, he's being really short with me. I'm like, we were there early. It was like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. something like that is when you picked me up. Anyways, I was like, yeah, when we got there, it was like normal car ride, and then we got there, and he was like being really weird with me. I'm like, dude, did I say something?
Did I do something? Yeah.
Yeah, and then come to find out, he just shit himself.
Hey, cheers to Chardon, man.
Cheers, brother. All right, if we're getting embarrassing,
I got one embarrassing story. As long as we're all laying it out there.
Stop me from saying my next one. Get us a little break.
Okay, I'll lay one out here. All right, I'm bear hunting. I'm out in the middle of Ontario. I'm in Armstrong Station, Ontario.
Oh shit!
The closest town is 70 kilometers south of where we're at. Right?
Can you say that in miles?
I'm gonna guess 50 something.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know the conversion.
Motherfucker goes kilometers on us. Like,
no, because that's how it is in
okay,
Canada.
I don't know how that
That's
shit
what
works.
it is. So we're 70 kilometers away from the closest town, and the closest town is powered by diesel generators. They don't even have running like regular electric. So
shit.
I'm in the middle of nowhere. Right? We're in camp, and the porta potties. They're not even really porta potties. They're just huge holes dug in the ground with like a seat, and then you just like shit into a hole, and it just falls in this like 20-foot deep hole. And then at the end of the season, they bury it and then dig a next one, new season. So I'm in the camp. The tradition in the camp is if you shoot your bear, that night you drink like a huge cup of Jack Daniels. And then obviously that leads to more. So the day after I shot a bear, I am very hungover. It's probably 6 a.m.
Oh, that's the worst.
I trusted a fart a little bit too much. And it ended up being not just a shark, like full blown.
Oh, it was wet.
It was wet. It was full blown. And I'm like, and I'm so hungover to the point where I contemplated just letting it be for a minute. I'm like, I might just sit this one out. But then I realized, like, no, I need to get up. This is disgusting. I'm living in squalor right now. I had about 10 minutes of fight in my head. I get up and I realized the situation is worse than I had previously thought. So I got to do like a legs together penguin shuffle to
that's the worst.
to the outhouse, right? And there's still people up drinking from the night before. So they watch me. My tent was perfectly on the opposite side of camp. So I had to go through this huge open area, and everyone saw me doing this little shuffle.
What's going on with that
doing
guy?
this little shuffle across the camp. They were saying some words to me, and I just completely ignored them, just pretend like I didn't even see them.
Acted like you were drunk.
Yep, exactly. And I get there, same deal. I realize I'm in too deep. I just ball up the underwear right down into the hole. Call it a day.
It would never be seen again.
Never
So
be
we're
seen
good.
again. It's covered up now.
Dude, it's
Oh,
funny that we're
man.
talking about that because I just realized it all makes sense. My gamer tag on PlayStation is Musty Cheeks. It all makes sense now.
I love how all those stories always start with, so I trusted a fart.
Every time. It happens to everyone. It's going to happen to you soon.
I was going to say, if someone says that has never happened to them, they're lying.
Oh, you're
For
fucking
sure.
liars.
Everyone
sure.
shit themselves to a degree at some point in their
Dude.
life.
And that is like one of the most traumatic feelings in that moment because you're like, oh, fuck.
It doesn't get much worse, man. Especially when you got a whole day ahead of you and there's no options to go home, whatever. Like, God, it just weighs on a man.
Oh, it does.
Do you ever get nerves like going up for a performance to the point where it's like I might need to like clear my body. I need to clear my system out right now before I go up.
I used to when I was younger, when I first got into it, I would get it tied in before like major sporting events too. Like I'd feel like I'd have to either piss, but I don't, or feel like I'd had to shit, and I didn't. Before every fucking football game or wrestling match, I always felt like that. And then that tied into performances at first. I'd be like, oh, fuck, I feel like I gotta piss. 2 minutes later, oh, shit, I think I have to shit.
Yep.
1 minute later, damn, I gotta piss again. Try to go there. I'm sitting there like trying to push it out like nothing. Just nerves. So yeah. Suspenseful, right?
I could see that. I've always wondered that because I go into concerts where it's like I'm going to say over 300 people.
Yeah.
The difference between like 300 and I'm going to say 1,000 is not very noticeable because it just seems like a shit ton.
Yeah, definitely. And one time, so at First Ave 7th Street where we're doing the show right now.
Yep.
That I think the sellout capacity is like 225. We were like 10 away from that 2 years ago when we did the show during COVID, or 3 years ago now. I think it was 2020. Yeah, 3 years ago. That, when you're in a smaller jam-packed area, when it's packed to that limit, is better than one year I opened for Fetty Wap at the Mankato Homecoming show. I think they had like 3,500 people.
Damn.
It was in the like a big arena, but the smaller like dive bar kind of feel when it's packed like that was so much cooler, bro.
Yeah.
Like the 3,500 people, it was like cool. I did get nervous. I almost shit myself again. I bet. But yeah, no, I think the smaller scale when they're packed out is cooler.
Moral of the story: absolutely never trust a fart on stage.
No, never trust a fart.
Could you imagine the embarrassment of shitting yourself in front of 225 people in a packed room?
I'm sure it wouldn't smell too good. Someone's gonna say something.
Yeah.
Yo, what's that smell? Like,
Yeah. You better not be wearing khakis, because if there's
Oh,
like
you
a wet
can't.
spot
oh
on
my
your butt,
god,
Oh,
that'd be the worst.
just nightmares.
That's going up on TikTok, and then
You're
all of
going
a sudden,
viral.
You're known as the shit guy.
I will tell you, if it did happen to me, I'm gonna take that shit and run with it.
you gotta own it. You gotta own it, or you're fucked.
Dude, it's either you let the embarrassment hit you, or you're like, fuck it, I'm the guy that shit myself.
Right.
Give yourself a little name change, like little shits or something.
Yeah.
with the music career in general, what do you think is your why? Like, what pushes you to want to keep it going further?
That is a great question. To keep it going further, I think it's just the love of it, man. Like I was saying earlier with the transition I made from going from like the main goal for me back then was to be famous or get rich off of it. I think now my why is just because I love doing it. There's no really rhyme or reason or other reason as to why. I think I enjoy doing it. If I get blessed enough to get a hit song that puts some money on the table for me, fuck yeah, that's awesome. But
Yeah.
like now I just do it because I love it. So that's the why, essentially, just
Yeah.
the love of it.
Love that.
Yeah, man.
Love that. That's way more important, because here's the thing. You get stuck in this loop of like, oh, I just want to make money. And then you make money. And then it's like, oh, but now I just want to get more followers.
Bro.
And you get more followers. And it's like, but I just want to make more money. And then it's just like this hamster wheel.
Bro, this just ties into the arrogance I had back then. I would charge people for studio time in just a little home studio. The first time I met Jordan, like when we started hanging out, I charged, what would I charge you? Like 40 an hour or something. And he came through a couple times. And then one day I was like, yo, we should just start hanging out, bro. Don't pay me anymore. Like, I remember that to this day. Yeah, bro. And then it just turned into like, let's be friends, bro.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, we're fucking friends, dude. Like, I feel bad taking your money.
Yeah, that's literally what it was. I was like, why? I'm enjoying making music with you. Why do I need your $40 right now?
Right.
Like, let's just fucking kick it, man. Like,
So, so now that you have a few years in the music game and you've done shows and whatnot, is there an idol of yours that you've got to meet in person, or anybody that you've been starstruck by where you're like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm in this position right now?
couple people. Bobby Raps is one. Super chill.
Yeah,
super
fuck
cool
yeah,
guy.
dude.
When we did the show with him, when Waterwave did the show with him, it was last year. He was here for a couple days and he was just having a studio session, and I got to go there with Eric and Calvino, and he played us a bunch of shit. He played us some like unreleased Future that he produced.
That's crazy.
And I was just sitting there and I was like, dude, this is
he's worked
fucking
with so
sick,
many
man.
cool people.
Dude, produced hits, man.
So many cool people.
Yeah.
Even songs himself that he's
Yeah.
on. Like, he just seems like such a cool guy.
He's super chill, man. He's a super humble guy. Like he's down to earth, and he's the kind of artist that like when he's back home in terms of like Minnesota, like not in California, I think is where he lives. When he's back home and he like, let's say he would meet you guys and he found out you guys are entrepreneurs, own your own podcast, he would show love to it right away. He'd be like, yo, I fucking love that shit. Let me
That's sweet.
follow it. Like he's that kind of guy if you're ever to meet him in person. Like he loves to show love back home.
That's
So,
sweet.
yeah, dude, he's super cool. Another person, trying to think who else.
Did you ever get to meet Riff Raff when you opened up for him?
No, unfortunately not. His manager was a dick. He said nobody can go in the green room, nobody can go near Riff Raff, and I was like, yeah, I get it. Riff Raff's famous, but he's not fucking Drake. All
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, let me just say
Not
what's up to
fucking
the guy.
Lil
Fuck.
Wayne back there.
Yeah,
like,
fuck. You
fucking
don't need
Christ.
3 security guards. There's probably 50 18-year-old white guys here and a bunch of nobody that's going to do anything to him. You don't need a whole security team. Nobody's strapped up in here.
We tried getting Riff Raff on the podcast, and I'd got a cameo from him. And it was just like I was doing cameos for advertisements for the podcast. When Cameo had first come out, it was like, hey, just say you got to check out On Tap podcast. whatever, subscribe. And he did a Cameo for us. And then on Cameo, they released this feature where you could pay to send them a message.
Yep.
Just like a text. And I literally just had said, I want to have you on the podcast. What would you charge me for an interview? And he said for like a 10-minute FaceTime interview, it was like $6,000. So
Yo,
like,
he is smoking
like,
dick with
He's
that price.
Texan, dude.
I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, I can't afford that.
Yeah, no,
Like,
that's
we'll pass
crazy.
on that.
That's
It was
damn near
it was a
disrespectful.
lot. It was like 10 minutes. It was like, okay.
That's
I mean,
crazy,
but,
man.
I mean, I would imagine when you get to a point of popularity where people are just reaching out to you all the time,
Yeah.
you just tax the ones that you don't want to do. And if you get it, then it's like, sweet, I got a bag.
And
Yeah.
let's be real, dude. I mean, at the time, every platform that OnTap had, it probably only added up to like 1,000 subscribers. Like,
I don't even know if it was that much. This was around the time where there was, if we went a couple days of getting more than 0 downloads, we'd be hyped. You know,
Hell
so this
yeah.
was the same time. So in my head, I'm thinking like, this is the coolest shit. Just no one knows about it yet.
Dude.
You know, it was just blind confidence.
Big Lake is up near here, right? Is it far from here? Big Lake?
There's a couple big lakes, but I don't know if
Party
the
Alone.
city
Have you
by
heard of
here.
him?
Yes.
So I've met him. He's super cool, dude. He comes to Minnesota often, and I'm sure if you guys reached out to him,
Yeah,
he'd
That'd be
be
sweet.
down to
so
do
we
a
had
podcast.
Tommy Boy. Have you ever met Tommy Boy? at all?
I've seen his music. I've never met him in person, but
So
he's really good.
we had him
We had
on,
his buddy on.
and we had him on like the week before he went to the Vikings game with Party Alone. Got to go on the field and shit. Tommy Boy comes through. We posted a couple of reels of him.
Yeah.
Party Alone commented on him. He liked him. Like he
like,
fucks with his Minnesota people.
Dude,
Yeah,
hard,
it's
bro.
really cool to see people like Party Alone, Minnesota artists,
Yeah, man.
that are really breaking through, doing songs with Travis Barker.
Yeah, that's
Dude,
nuts.
hanging out with Travis Barker. I posted a reel with Arden Jones, the
Yeah,
ukulele
yeah,
dude,
he's
guy.
on
he
tour with him.
opens for him.
Unreal. Yeah, I was like, wow, he's just collaborating with everyone.
Well,
Mod's
man.
son.
Mod's
I mean,
son. He every time he has an interview, if they ask him who's up and coming, every single
Yeah,
time
it's
Party Alone.
Like,
crazy.
That dude is crazy talented.
Crazy.
He came to the Waterwave store, dude, and I was doing a studio session. He was here from LA, and he just came down. He's super chill. And this is right after he signed his deal. Right after what's the song called? No Way Home. I think that's what it's called. Or Not a Home. After
Yeah.
that song released and it went like crazy big, he came back, and at first I was like starstruck, and then after talking with him, I was like, yo, this dude's just like one of
Normal
us.
dude.
Like,
yeah.
normal guy, like just giving us game in the music industry. And dude, we got to show him some of my music. We were talking about his like music, and yeah, dude, he's super nice.
That's
He's a really nice guy, man. I wish him nothing but the best.
Unbelievably cool to see people like that, obviously from Minnesota, but just like down to earth people actually getting
man.
a shot. So I feel like it just doesn't happen much in today's day and age with like the popularity being towards short form content like TikToks.
Yep.
Like the TikTokers, like the people that got some TikTok clout but nothing else. It seems like there's more arrogance there than
100%.
ever with any famous people. Am I wrong?
No, I completely
Like
agree.
we've met a couple people where I would say exclusively have TikTok clout. Like when I say TikTok clout, like a couple 100,000 on TikTok, but then like 600 on everything else. It's like a weird differentiation between everything else. And these people, they just like got a big head now. It's like they blew up quick.
Yep.
But like TikTok famous is like not really that famous anymore.
Now, if you have 8 million, it's different. But like you said, a couple 100K on TikTok, basically nothing on the rest. That sounds to me like you had one video that just went nuclear.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's one thing that we had discovered too, is like if you see someone that will reach out to us and say like, I want to be on the show, and it's like, okay, sweet. Like obviously we have no problem like having people on that want to be on. Scroll through their content, and it was one video that'll have like 10 million views, and then the rest like 600, 400, 100. It's like, okay, this doesn't match up.
Yeah.
You don't have a following. What do you
which
do? I
we-
don't-
Yeah, at that point, yeah.
We don't just pick our guests off of who's got the most clout, but obviously it helps.
Definitely,
And
yeah.
If somebody just has clout but has nothing to talk about, what's the point of even having you on? I'd rather have, like our last episode, we had a guy on that's never done anything with social media, but he had the stories that you could never get from anybody else.
Yeah.
We're just here for the content, man. I mean, clout's a plus. If they happen to
Oh,
have
for
that
sure.
with them, that's great. But otherwise, it's like the Island Boys.
Yeah.
They came in strong. They killed it.
Island boy.
I just saw a video of, I don't know which one it is, getting arrested, and he's like crying in the back of the cop car.
Yeah, I saw
I
that.
didn't do anything wrong. I didn't do anything wrong.
It's crazy. It's crazy what clout can do to somebody.
Oh, it's
It's fucking
It's dangerous.
crazy. It's very dangerous.
Some people will turn quick, and they're just like get mean.
Some people
Get
will.
arrogant.
Yes, yeah.
It comes from a place of ego, really. I think.
it is.
What do you think would be like a top dream collab? Living,
I have
I guess.
two. I have
I guess
two.
living or dead.
Yep, I have two.
Okay.
Good thing you said that. One, Mac Miller. I cried when he passed. I listened to
That was
Best
a
Day
tough
Ever,
one,
and I
man.
fucking bawled my eyes out. And then two, Drake. A lot of people shit on Drake because he's so mainstream, but dude, I think that's like the prince of our generation in terms of hip hop era music. He's just he's a musical genius in my opinion. Like, yeah, people can like talk about how if you're reading This Is Too Late, he had a ghostwriter on it, but dude, it doesn't matter. Everything he drops, whether it's albums or just a single, goes platinum.
But also to that same point, like, so what if he had someone else write it? Every
Yeah.
other genre already does that. Why is
Yeah.
it a big deal when rappers do it? And it's
Literally.
not like he does it every song.
Dude, that's what rap is, though. It's such a, and I love rap music, obviously, but the thing that sucks the most about it as an artist is it's such a competitive game when it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
A lot of gatekeeping
especially,
to it.
dude, a lot of gatekeeping, and especially just in the Minnesota music scene right now. There's so much gatekeeping, or there's just so much local beef that is nonsense to me. There's just so much like, oh, I'm better than them, or whoever, or I'm better than so and so, or they're trash, and it's like, dude, who cares? Like,
Right.
they're fucking making music. It's almost like a combat sport in a sense. Like, people in the rap scene in Minnesota, I've noticed, feed off of negative energy. And
I think that's
hate
just
to
people
see
in
it.
general too.
Yeah.
It's just
Facts.
like the way that culture is going in general. It's so much easier to put the negative stuff up on a pedestal, because if no one else receives it well, then it's just like, oh yeah, that was just someone else's bad
Yeah, for sure.
performance or whatever the case might be. You
One
know?
one thing I look at too is just in terms of one thing I notice as an artist is everybody's always saying we need to come together, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, well, yeah, we need to come together, but also we just need to do us and not worry about the next person.
Right.
In terms of wanting to start random local beef, like, so what, you were trying to start like a rap beef with this person per se or whatever, like, just do you, man. Like, make music. If people like it, they like it. If it's
Right.
not your cup of tea, then fucking go grab a Sprite. I don't know. Fuck.
Well, that negative energy only gets you so far, too. People might be in when the beef is hot. As soon
Yeah.
as it's done, no one gives a fuck anymore.
No.
But
not
if
at
you
all.
bring positivity, people remember the feel. It's like Mac Miller, like the Spins, the most iconic
Yes,
song of
dude.
Mac Miller. When I hear that song, my whole attitude, it doesn't matter if I'm having the shittiest day or the best day, it's going to get better in
Yes,
one
it is.
way, shape, or form. And people remember how you make them feel.
So at the end of the day,
If they
yeah.
if they were just tuned in because you were beefing with this other dude, as soon as that beef's over with, they don't give a shit about you.
No, not at all.
Don't. My dad always, from a young age, always told me people will never remember what you tell them, but they'll always remember how you make them feel. And that is like such a true thing. I never really understood that until the older I got.
Yeah, man.
And then realized like I have no idea what the conversations that I've had with all of my friends individually.
Yeah,
but
dude.
obviously, like I fuck with every single one of them. Like I love them. Yeah, you know, and it's like I don't know.
That's how
I
it
don't know
is,
how to
dude.
describe it. It's a feeling. It's a vibe. So
Dude.
when you're on stage, or just in general, when you're in the studio, when you're with other creators, when you're with other musicians, what do you think is the best way to get yourself and them in a headspace that makes it conducive to the creative process for both of you? So like, how do you, basically in a short way, how do you set the vibe?
How do you set the vibe? Oh, that's a good question. Honestly, if you want like the honest how it really goes in the studio, I'm sure Jordan can contest to this. You literally probably sit there and play through 50 beats until one of you or both of you are like, yeah, this is the one. And then when you find the one, you probably play that beat probably 2 hours in a row. Mike's been there when we create a beat from start to finish, and that's what that's how it is, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, there's no other like way to sugarcoat it. Just honestly, you're having a good time, you know, like we are right now, and then you're just cycling through beats. Yo, do you like this one? We can do something like this.
Yeah.
Or how would this sound? And then there's no other rhyme or reason to it. It's honestly it's pretty simple. Some people try to simplify it, I think is the term I'm looking for. But yeah, it's just, especially if it's just you and a bunch of guys trying to make music, you're just bullshitting, listening
Absolutely.
to beats, just
Absolutely.
vibe, and that's the vibe.
I always try to take the role of trying to do a little pre-planning where it's like, someone's coming to the studio. I always try to either just directly ask them or get something that I know they like to drink, or maybe even a little bit of extracurriculars, whether it be a little bit of smoke, things like that.
Yeah.
That's always a good vibe setter.
Yes, it is.
They're good tools to help set the vibe.
Definitely.
It is a little bit of a challenge because you got to go a little bit deeper if they don't drink, if they don't smoke, if whatever. So then you don't have these things as a crutch to like rely on. Then it's like, oh man, I really got to, step it up conversationally here.
Definitely.
So I think, setting the vibe, getting the right music on, getting the right vibe on.
Yep.
And get everyone in the right headspace, And that was another reason why having a studio we felt was really important to the creative process for this show.
100%.
Because if we're at someone's house, there's that level of, I got to take my shoes off at the door. I'm at someone else's place. This is not someone else's place. This is a communal place. Like this is everyone's place.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that first barrier is not there. It's not like, basically how I envision setting the vibe is not adding things to force anything, but taking away the things that would subtract from it.
Yeah, dude,
Does
and
that
just
make
make it
sense?
comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you make it just a comfortable environment for whoever it may be that walks in, whoever it is gonna vibe, essentially.
Right.
That's one thing too, I guess, to tie in with it is just make it a comfortable vibe. Especially as artists, you're very vulnerable when you're making shit.
Right.
So you just want to be comfortable in that moment. There's been times I've gone into studio sessions, for example, the one with the 21 Savage producer, I was so starstruck to where it caused me to almost feel a sense of not being comfortable.
Yeah.
So I was like, I started getting in my head, you just want, for that vibe, essentially, you just want it to be a feeling of comfortability.
Yeah, because like you said, it is a vulnerable moment. I have some friends that when they're recording, I've been there for it, and there is people in there I know that are uncomfortable being in there.
Yep.
And it makes everyone else kind of uncomfortable because you can kind of feel that uneasiness,
Dude, energy is real. You can
100%.
feel if somebody's not feeling it.
100%. So how do you get into a place where especially if you're doing a collaboration where you can comfortably tell someone, I know you can do that better without it sounding like criticism? I've always wondered that because obviously my name is on this track too. My name is on this body of work. I want it to be the best that I know I can make it. And let's say someone puts down a verse and it's kind of half-ass. How do you confidently tell them, I know you can do better without it sounding like it's too harsh of criticism?
I think the way it is, and I think I might have spoken to Jordan about this when we first met, is I say it in terms of myself first. I'll say hey, if I'm recording and you don't think it's good enough, or if you even think it's trash, just tell me. There's nothing wrong with creative or constructive criticism. I don't take it the wrong way. So I always start by saying, tell me first. And then if somebody's recording, I'm just like, hey, do another take. I do another take, put more energy into it. You dumb it down to that instant. You don't necessarily say, yo, that shit was trash. Because some people will take it the wrong way. And then that turns into them having a problem with you. And you're like, yo, I don't want no smoke, man. I'm just telling you could have hit that C note a little better. Right. But no, it's honestly just show it to make an artist more comfortable, show your vulnerability. So then they feel comfortable to show their vulnerability.
What do you think? Now I'm going totally clickbait YouTube title with this one here.
Okay.
What do you think the implementation of AI into music is going to do for the local music scene, the small level music scene?
I think it's fucked up.
Because
honestly,
you can make an entire song without willing to having to do anything yourself.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the idea of it, just even for local or even big artists, because some artists can do a song with themselves and then they can do AI Drake.
Yep.
And the AI Drake will sound immaculate, and then
great.
They might blow up, and then it's like, dude, congrats, kudos, you made it, but you made it off of a computerized version of an artist you idolize.
Right.
It's not. I don't think it's right. I also don't. AI is getting crazy, man.
It's insane. It takes away from everything. I mean, there obviously are benefits of it, with our editing process. It
Chat GPT
takes away certain, button clicking that you get sick of doing, but man, is it insane, especially with the schools and homework and shit.
Yeah,
You can
dude.
just type in anything
Type
you
me a
want.
5-paragraph essay about whatever it may be.
At a 5th grade level, or whatever the case is. Dude, it's insane. Yeah, I don't understand how schools can continue the same way that they are right now with this all coming out. There's no way.
Dude, it's gonna change so
no
much over
way.
the next 10 years, man. Like when your child is grown, like middle school, high school, I bet it's gonna be so crazy with AI.
I don't think it's going to be the same. I don't think it's going to be. I think it's going to be changed drastically in the next 5 to 10 years. It has to.
It has to,
because if
man.
they don't keep up, we're just never going to learn anything.
No.
We'll be so dumb because people will just type it in the computer, and then all of a sudden we won't have computers, and because someone takes it out or whatever the case is, and then everyone's screwed. We won't know how to do anything.
Nope, gonna be very dependent.
Well, I remember as a kid, I had every single one of my friends' phone numbers memorized, every single one of my family members' phone numbers memorized. And there's still a few that I remember, but very little now. I'm going to say 5 or less phone numbers that I could rattle off to you right now of my close friends and family.
Yep.
Back in the day, it was 20. In my head, I was like, all right, this is Jake's number.
Yeah.
All right, blah, 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 blah. But now you just don't have to. You go in your contacts, you hit
it's
it.
right there. Dude, I
Even
still
driving.
Even driving.
I don't know how to get that fucking anywhere.
Nope.
Google Maps, let's go, baby.
Dude, to this day, I still remember the fucking Pizza Hut phone number, the 651-488-8888. Pizza Hut delivery is on its way. That shit was a hit.
So when you're making music, do you keep in mind also now taken away from the Pizza Hut number thing? How do you try to get your earworms, so to speak? How do you come up with the melodies that you think people will stick in their mind?
That's a great question because, see, I used to get caught up so much in this will tie in with wanting to be famous. I used to get so caught up in, what is catchy? What are people going to want to sing along to? Or what are people going to repeat that I'm saying? And that almost can become a crutch due to, what did you say earlier? Paralysis due to analysis.
Yeah.
So you start doing that shit and you'll spend 2 hours listening to a beat trying to just think so hard on something that people will think is catchy, when in reality, you just got to make what's coming to your mind at that time.
Yeah.
It might sound stupid, but let an instrumental play, just sound out a sound like shit like that. So you have that melody of how you want your syllables to go in terms of what you're saying. Then you just write shit that makes sense at that point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You ever gone down this rabbit hole of sound theory or music theory and what chord structures create what melodies and things like that?
Honestly, no.
That's probably a good thing.
That's some nerd shit.
That's probably a good thing because I feel like that's immediately the route that I would go down if I ever tried to pursue music.
Well, you're a big researcher, you said, so
right? Yeah, I would figure out what's the puzzle that makes this and how can I kind of figure this out.
Yeah, man, that's literally honestly one thing I learned about music through this journey is it's just a big numbers game because everything's in a count, a 4 count or an 8 count, or it's actually always a 4 count. So when you write verses for rap songs, you're either doing an 8-bar verse or a 16-bar verse or 12-bar, but it's always in counts of 4, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a big numbers game, especially when producing, because you'll have the entire the DAW pulled up, and the DAW is essentially kind of like what you're using right there. Yep. I'm sure you know that, and you're looking at when you're creating this beat, you have numbers, and it's the count of the beat. So it's the BPM. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all the way up to however many seconds it is or minutes. And a lot of guys can produce just by knowing what the numbers are. They know where to put the certain sound because they know where that's going to hit in terms of that count. I don't know how to do that yet. I know how to write music. I've tried to produce, and I can't fucking get it yet. That's a different ball game, man.
I would imagine, yeah, because then you get into the science of it.
Dude, it's a fucking wormhole, man.
Well, shit, Jake. I mean, we're getting towards the end of the show. Let's talk about what is the July 25th? Is that the date?
Yeah, man.
So how many artists are going to be on the card there?
Yeah, so we got myself, Calvino, we have Jordan, Self, sorry, my bad, bro. We have Self, and then we have Kent Vinyl, we have Rock Solid Music Group, we have Zateb, and we have Rock Barboza. So that's 5 or 6 acts. I'm losing count. But then I also have 2 surprise guests that are going to perform on it. I have student 1 that's going to perform at the show. And I also have a group that's called the BDE Boys. They're down in Mankato. There we go. And yeah, man, it's going to be super dope. I'm super excited. The last time I did a First Ave show, it was during COVID. We got hit with the last minute mask mandate and vaccine card mandate. And we should look this up after I say this to see if we can get in trouble for this. But we printed a bunch of negative tests for people. And we just started passing them out to people like, yo, just here.
You
Get
gotta
in.
innovate. You
And,
gotta innovate.
Yeah, allegedly we did
Allegedly.
that. Allegedly.
There's no proof.
And yeah, man, we got super close to a sellout. It was 10 tickets short, but I think we're gonna sell it out this time.
Fuck yeah, man. We
So-
can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I've never been to that venue. I've only been to a
fucking awesome.
handful of concerts, and it's gonna be a new experience.
I've only been there once, 2012. I saw Odd Future there.
Oh
When
fuck.
they were still like on
Dude.
the come up. It was badass.
I can't
It was
promise you that
sweet.
it's gonna be like that level, but you're gonna have a good ass time.
I'm
Like,
excited. I'm excited. I'm excited to see all the Water Wave guys there. I'm excited to meet all the rest of
Dude.
the Water Wave guys.
They're awesome, bro. You're gonna love them.
Well,
Fuck yeah.
Jake, where can everyone find you on socials? Plug your
Yeah.
handles.
So Instagram is Jake Giller Music. Twitter is Jake Giller Music. Facebook Jake Giller Music. You can just search that. And yeah, you can find me even on YouTube, just Jake Giller Music. It's pretty simple. Yeah, great
And
music.
Hell
you
yeah.
dropped a new song today?
Yes, I did. I dropped a song titled Maintain featuring Trey Mua. It's track number 2 on a project I'll be dropping here within the next 3 weeks, I'd say, titled Reflective Therapy. It's basically a project that embodies self-reflecting. So talk about a bunch of different emotions I went through the years in terms of when I took this hiatus of a year and a half of not dropping music and how I felt and where I was at those times. And I just put it out there for everyone to listen and hear my wins, losses, and just emotions that I went through. So I'm
Hell
super
yeah.
excited.
Awesome.
Hell yeah. I can't wait to
Yeah,
hear
man.
it.
Super excited.
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Thanks for having me,
guys.
gentlemen.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.